Welcome to an amazing episode of Careful Boys. Today we have Min with us. Hey! And we have all the boys. Anthony, Joe, Bart, Nick, me. Welcome to the show.
Big burrito.
So I ended up working with Min's firm to get my loan for the house that I'm looking for.
Let's go. Cool. That's fucking tight, dude.
Thanks, dude. Thanks for taking me on. Thanks for taking me on as a client.
What's the discount code? Sorry.
No, for the mortgage stuff, don't you... For each state, you have to be licensed, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you guys are nationwide or like...
We're in like 40 states, so I'm licensed in like 13 states, and then I have guys who work for me that are licensed in other states.
How come you didn't help me with mine? You weren't licensed in Nevada yet?
I know we just got licensed in Nevada. Yeah.
Oh, because I remember I was like,
Nah, he was busy.
I've
He was
been
busy.
buying houses, and you keep telling me, he's like, talk to this guy, John and Albert and Ronnie and Rusco.
You just dropped all their names right now? Real names?
I don't know. I just made up names.
Hey, so that means if I buy a house in Vegas again, you could just hook me up?
Yeah.
All right. I want like, can I get 2002 rates?
Yeah,
Damn, you can pick a year?
It's like, would you like 7% or 2? It's up to you, really.
You get to pick.
I should say thank you as well. You helped me when I was looking for my house, and you referred me to a John or Roscoe or Rusco or whatever.
Yeah. Rudolini.
But then, Rudolini, that was it, Mr. Rudolini. But then I ended up going with the developer's lender in order to get like...
That's what we tell everybody. If you're buying from the builder, always use the builder lender.
They have the best rates?
Yeah.
They technically, so in your purchase price, they've already padded in all the closing costs and all that. So if you don't use them, you're losing out, but you're already paying for it because you're paying for it in the price.
But then you'll save like 10 G's on all the closing costs. Yeah. So it's helpful.
good to
But
know.
that's only if you're buying from a builder. If you're buying from like regular person, then it's,
Then Min's the man.
Min's the man.
Especially if you're illiterate about all that stuff like I am.
I don't like agents. I think they're stupid as fuck. But
Okay.
mortgage is different.
Which one, like book agents?
No, real estate.
All agents?
Why do you feel? You feel like they're
I think
scary?
like
if
an
you don't
agent.
have a good agent, but right now with lawsuits and with laws changing, having a good agent does help because now people are selling older homes and they're not fixing it. There's all little issues little issues with that. If you don't have a good agent, you're gonna buy a lemon, or let's say you pass up on a good deal when it was something simple to get fixed. So unless you have a good agent, then yes. But if you don't have a good agent and it's just an Uber driver who's an agent, then yes, you're right.
So why is it that there's not that many good agents? Is it like a bad licensing thing? Like people
People slip through the cracks?
like it's just easy to be one?
There's a difference between passing the test and actually having experience. So think about this, like
Huge red flag is if you have an agent and they do something else. So the good agents are
Part-time.
full-time. They're always full-time. If there's someone's like, oh, I'm a real estate agent, but I'm also a photographer.
And a hibachi grill chef?
Then you're like, you are not
So
gonna
you're
be,
bad at both.
Yeah, you're not a good agent only does real estate
date
agent
farm.
work.
the question I ask is that if that agent actually has rental properties or they flip properties, that's the agent I want. Because now they know, hey, there's something's wrong there, something's wrong here, hey,
That's
this is
the
a
agent
foundational
I
issue.
want,
So you
too.
need a flipper agent.
What if they have a Lambo?
That's good.
How did they get the Lambo?
Stole it.
Rented it.
What if there's all these stickers with serial numbers on the Lambo?
From their photography business. That's where they got it.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Because like, if you're a good agent, more than likely you're more invested in the industry. So if you have a portfolio of rentals, like okay, you're a good agent because you've moved yourself up. But if you're an agent that also doesn't own a house and you do it part time, you're like, wait, so how good are you at this industry? If they made basketball cards for fucking agents, all your numbers are literally the wackest numbers you've ever seen, like 0 points per game. I'm like, I don't know if you're a good agent, dude.
Yeah. Is that a bad sign if the agent has never owned a home themselves?
They don't own a home, I think, doesn't mean they're not a good agent. They can still be good at negotiating.
He's nice. He has agent homies. He has agent homies with no homes.
Are you prejudiced against that?
No, I prefer that they flip for sure. If they flip,
Okay.
then I know for sure they know, okay, this is wrong, that's wrong, before you even buy it.
So having an experienced agent that flips themselves is better than someone that just sells like residence for people to like primary residence to live in.
Correct. I think if they do, a lot of agents do regular residence as well, and they flip. So if they flip, they have to flip for me, because now I know like when I go to a property, home inspections pass pretty easy. these days, and other things pass pretty easy. But they'll, hey, there's going to be an issue here, so you want that agent to negotiate. Especially right now, like certain areas, it's still a seller's market. Certain areas are a buyer's market. But if there's room to negotiate, that agent's going to point out the things. Hey, this needs to get fixed. I need a price reduction here. I need a price reduction there.
We were at Altadena and we looked at one of the burnt down houses, and then the agent was like, "This whole thing needs to be built," and I'm like, "I think so too."
While the smoke is coming up.
Tell the seller like we gotta fix this.
Pay this guy up front, man.
And I was like, "Damn, this guy knows his shit."
And you need
It's already working for you.
You need an agent that's niched the fuck out too. So when you go, oh, what kind of houses do you sell? All of them. You're like, okay, this guy sucks. But if they're like, oh, I specialize 500, 700. I specialize in mansions. If they specialize, that means they're so deep into the weeds. They're really good. They know how to look out for all those home inspection things.
What do you consider yourself a specialist?
Like a home with a balcony or something.
Problem-solving loans. Problem-solving. Like I deal with like issues with loans. So like if you're not gonna have a straight-up layup,
I have no money.
I call it
Zero down loan.
like if I call it a roofie deal. If it's not I got like roofie deals or laydowns. Like any bank can do it.
What's a laydown?
Like if the loan's easy to get done. If it's like, okay, cool, this one has this issue, they're gonna have these challenges. Okay, cool. Like let's work on it right now and then move on.
You said it's called a roofie deal?
Yeah, if it's a lay down deal, everyone can do it.
But you got a roofie that.
I thought you said Rufio deal. I was like, Rufio deal? What is that?
Way more dangerous.
Yeah, how do I get in on those deals?
Have you watch his videos? I'm saying that how much the paycheck's gonna be. He has it on TikTok?
his royalties,
Yeah.
and they're always like 10 cents, 5 cents.
Taco Bell's gonna be filet mignon.
That's the life, man. Oh yeah, is this a good time to buy a freaking investment property?
The best time to buy investment property right now.
Interesting.
I think buying investment right now would probably be better than buying a home unless you have a family, unless you're growing a family, unless you're like, hey, I need it in my mental checklist. Like I gotta buy my house first.
Why is that?
Because rents are going up, and more and more people on these lower end homes don't qualify. So you would think, okay, who has 200,000? Okay, most people who have 200,000 don't live in Philadelphia, but they go out and buy Philadelphia. They can go out and buy Missouri. They can go out and buy in Baltimore, and it's going to cash flow because the person who can live in the house in those areas can't afford to buy in those areas. So the competition's not there, but they can afford the higher rent.
So you're talking about like California people that want to invest, but that 200K in California won't get them shit, so they go to other states where they can buy out a whole house and then rent it out and get cash flow?
Correct.
If you live in a first world state, buy in a third world state.
That's true.
What are some good third world states?
That's crazy, cause like
Literally like 48 of them are.
I've been spending some time in Cleveland.
Yeah.
See? A lot of time in Cleveland.
Cleveland cash flows. In Cleveland, you got all the sports teams. Cleveland has the most sports teams.
And it's all in one area, dude.
Correct.
They go ham over there, bro.
Yeah.
Most of America's third world states.
That's true. It's really true.
Doing something like that? Getting a Cleveland home?
We're thinking either Cleveland or Vegas, but it's probably leaning towards Vegas.
Vegas is becoming second world.
Vegas,
so you gotta be
I think
careful.
I would buy Vegas to flip.
Yeah.
Because Vegas, people are moving into Vegas, and in Las Vegas and Arizona, they're moving so fast in equity.
Yeah.
I would go, if you're like tight on cash first, I would go there so that you get the rush of the equity and then move it to the East Coast. Because think about it, it doesn't grow fast on the East Coast. You're looking for more cash flow on the East.
That's what he was saying.
And more cash flow on the East.
You know what the problem with him is though? He knows everything's not gonna do shit. That's a cool thing. That's a cool thing I love about Nick.
Can you help with that?
Can you shake me a little bit?
You provide shaking.
Is that part of your services?
And head whacking.
Can you slap me around?
Are you doing the thatch thing?
Is that the
Are
closing
you doing the
cost?
thatch thing?
No, not
dude,
yet.
Thatch motivates people, dude.
Yeah. I watch his videos all the time. I'm getting LVP for my floors, dude.
That's all I think now is LVP. I'll put that shit on my wall.
I got a question.
Damn.
For all of our audience members, right? They're like, well, I'm already out the game because I ain't got 200K. Is there a way for someone with zero monies to go out there and try to get something?
You need a little bit of money.
What's a little bit? Because 200K, it's hard to have 200K.
Let's say you don't have 200K, but you got to have a mouth to hustle.
Oh, okay.
Because what you can do.
I didn't know hustle was where you were gonna go with that mouth, but I like it.
Not the way you're hustling, not like this hustle. But I'm talking about like,
Hey, roofie, baby.
yeah, you have to be able to convince somebody to sell their house. So a lot of people who don't have, they can convince people like, hey, your home, you know, it's probably not going to sell for a lot on the market, and you want to get rid of it quick. I have a buyer for you. And then they wholesale.
It's wholesaling,
Yeah, they have to wholesale.
And
to
the
get
buyer is.
Put some glasses on.
And they wholesale for a season. They wholesale for a season, and then they have the money to buy.
I wholesaled a commercial building for my first time last year.
Oh yeah, dude, you did good with that.
Yeah, if you wholesale enough where now people are bringing you deals. So there's agents out there, they're looking for finder's fee. So if you have enough agents looking for finder's fee, you have enough investors, then you're just the middleman working out all the deals.
So people out there watching, like, to get in the game, if you don't have money, but if you have time, then you can go and start. What would they do? Like cold calling, knocking on doors?
What I would do first is I would see, first of all, where you want to do it in. Put up signs close to the freeway, like, hey, I have a cash buyer, buy your house. And they would just start calling people and offering, hey, I have a cash buyer, I have a cash buyer, I have a cash buyer.
And then so you're looking for what's called like an off-market deal, right? So it's not even on Zillow, Redfin yet. It's just people that are like, I'm thinking about selling, but I don't know. And then you talk to them and try to get this house contracted.
Do you have to have a cash buyer first, though?
Most of them, they don't, but everyone walks around like they do. So you're looking for buyers who don't want publicly to be they don't want it to be publicly known that they have to sell their house. People going through divorce. You know, they want other people knowing their business. They don't want their neighbors going in and out of their house because, like, hey, me and Susie broke up, and I don't want people knowing that me and Susie broke up. Like, let me secretly sell it and bounce. You
So
know?
the door knock and be like, is the man of the house home?
Or
Any
the
secret
house is
sales?
or the house is pretty busted up, and someone needs to bounce right away. You know, there's people out there who need to sell who need to bounce right away.
I'm doing a survey on marriage happiness.
What they're doing is basically being middleman, and then they'll be like, hey, I'll get the contract for the house for like $500K, and then I'll find the buyer for maybe $520 or whatever.
550, yeah.
550, and then you get $50K in the middle.
Correct.
For making that transaction.
Right. And that's why when you start flipping a lot, then you'll start to see more deals. Like, I have a close friend of mine. He makes 80 grand every couple months because a deal falls on his lap that he doesn't have the money to buy all himself. He'll just offload it to somebody, and all he did was just connect 2 phone calls.
He's just a network king.
Yeah. Oh, so I got a question about that. So like, when I was living in the Hollywood Hills, I felt like I saw a place that was that, where I was like, dude, somebody, if they knew what that was, would probably make a lot of money flipping it, because it was like this ugly ass shack, kind of hidden. Mm-hmm. And then a friend of mine who's a realtor was like, oh bro, I was like describing it to him. He's like, oh, let me know about that, man. I'll give you a finder's fee. But I'm like thinking, like, what stops somebody from just not giving you the fee after you tell them? Like, don't you need to
have
do
to put it in
something,
escrow.
right?
Yeah, there's every state's
get
gonna do
the
things.
contract.
You can get the contract, and you can assign it to somebody. It's like when you go, hey, sell to me for $550, cool. Assign it to me, and then I'm gonna assign it to this person.
Interesting.
And the spread's already inside.
Yeah.
So like, it feels like it's a bad sign that if the dude's just like, just tell me.
Yeah, never give him the address.
Yeah, right.
Get him, yeah.
Because he wasn't like, let's draft a thing and then I'll write the thing.
Like, he was just like, oh yeah, tell me what it is, man. I'll give you finder's fee. It's like, that feels too casual. Like, I feel like I won't hear from you ever again.
I need a notary right here.
Yeah.
The way we did it is we had it under contract because the owner was like, can you buy my business and the building? And I was like, well, I can't buy the building. And then my friend was like, wait, maybe we can, because it's under market value. And then so
You didn't tell him that though. You knew that.
no, we knew that. So then, because we looked at all the buildings around, and we're like, oh, there's like, he's giving us like a 300-400K discount, or whatever it is. And then there's like, what? So we're like, for sure we could get like at least 100K, just like if we find a buyer for the building. And then so we got it under contract, so it was technically ours to sell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Who
And
ended
it-
up buying it?
A real estate developer.
Next day.
But that is, I didn't know it was called wholesaling.
You lied, Joe.
And then we did it, and I was like, so that's what wholesaling is. That's so cool.
Oh man.
Because you're just, it's like being an agent.
Finding leads for people, huh?
Yeah, you're literally
Dude.
finding leads.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, though.
It's called another term is called, they call it skip tracing, where they can hunt down people, and then that's how they
And there's apps for that. You could literally go, you have the apps, some of them are free, some of them you pay for. You go to an address, you type in the address, and it tells you the phone number of the person that lives there.
For real?
Yeah, and so you can start calling. You just start calling every single door literally on the street.
I'm gonna get on these
And then
phones,
the
guys. I
better
can't do
deal,
JK News anymore.
So when you call them and the phone number doesn't work, that's the best lead. that means they can't pay their bills. That means you can roll up right away.
What?
If they don't answer or the phone number is disconnected, that means letting go of your cell phone is the last thing you're gonna let go of. But if it's time for you to let go of your cell phone number, you need to sell.
Then you can go door knocking.
That's a different level of thinking.
But that's like, so I always tell people too, if they don't have money, like you either have to have equity or you have to have effort. So if you don't have money, then you got to put in the work. You got to door knock, call, and try to reach out to people. But like kind of like when you like are skimming Zillow and like you kind of get comfortable with the area, you go, oh shit, this one is kind of undervalued. You can start to see patterns if you really look at it a lot. Even if you go down the street, for one of our exercises that we did in Thatch's class, me and my other real estate partner, we actually went door knocking, and I was like, oh fuck, I got kind of nervous. I was like, I never just talk to people.
Wow, you actually went.
I went door knocking. I was like, this is
with your buff ass.
I felt like, well, I'm like, dude, this
Some of
feels-
your house.
This feels like fucking 90s going gangbanging. Like,
You were probably wearing a founding fathers shirt.
no, but we printed out. We did what Thatch did. We print out fucking paper, has our phone number, has our company on it, and we would go and if they're not there, you leave the paper so they can call you. And you do find a lot of people actually are distressed, but they're just so like, just leave me alone. I just want to fix cars. And they don't know that you can actually provide a solution if you can find them a buyer for the house, which will solve like half of their debt, and then they just have to move 2 streets down where it's a little bit cheaper. And so a lot of the times it's like, because you go into thinking like, wait, am I stealing if this thing's under market and then I find another buyer? Like, why don't I just connect these 2 people? But it's because of you're able to connect these guys, and then this guy doesn't have the means or even the time to go look for buyers. Right. So you are kind of solving someone's problem, and that's what a lot of these wholesalers are. They're just like going around, and people, they need to sell, they don't have time to list, they don't have whatever, and everyone's situation is so different. Yeah. And then after we just did one street, I'm like, oh shit, I understand why this whole like market exists now.
What's your hey dude?
Yeah, what's your pitch?
Play this out. I'm the person opening the door. I want to see what you would say.
I'm like, hey, do you own this house?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So me and my partners were just here trying to look for houses to buy. How much did you get it for? Can I ask you? Like, I'll go. Like, can I ask you? So Thatch gives us a script, and it would start with.
Who's Thatch? Who's that?
No, but there's like a whole script, and you start really.
This guy's crazy, mom.
Can I have some of your time? And then they're like, some people are like, oh yeah, sure. Most people that aren't in LA are like, hey, what are you doing around here?
Oh right,
Dude, California's where
In Vegas, like I had so many knocking like solicitors.
really?
It felt like when I lived in Gardena in the 90s. Because in LA in the 90s, it was normal. Do you remember people knocking door to door doing
And they would
sales?
sell you like fucking bubble guns.
Yeah.
Will they have like a vacuum?
Yeah. Or like
Was it
carpet
bad for
cleaner.
your car?
Yeah.
Or
That was so
encyclopedia?
normal. Yeah.
Yeah, and LA's tougher because like the minute they open the door, they see you. Hey, can I talk to you? They just go like this. But in a lot of states, they're still normal. They'll like talk to you. But,
Where they'll look out the window, they call the cops. Like, who are you?
Yeah.
What's up with the third world states that you have a license to do lending in? If you do have some money.
They're desperate. They're desperate out there. Like people like are in bad positions and they gotta bounce.
Dude, let's go find.
So think about this.
Find some deals, boys.
Think about 2020, 2020, 2022, the market, all of a sudden, housing market just ramped up. So they're sitting on these homes that they bought before 2020. And now there's equity. But now because, the interest rates are high, cost of living's high, they can't afford to live there. But they have it's like you sat on something now has equity and you're in a bad position, you gotta sell.
So they sell at a profit anyway.
Correct.
Well, how does that work if the they bought it in 2020, but
No,
then
they bought before 2020.
So they got their interest rate isn't locked in.
Oh, it's locked in, but let's say you bought something, you said you bought this thing for before 2024,
Yeah.
$3.
Yeah.
All of a sudden rates pull back, now it's worth $10.
Yeah.
Which you didn't do anything with it. Let's say you didn't have a credit or you actually didn't go out and refinance or sell it. Now you bought something for $3, it's worth $10, so you have $7. But now
Gotcha.
you're in some tough times, like, I gotta get rid of this thing. I need that $7 now. I need that $7. You know?
Yeah.
And think about this. Also, homeowners insurance, like in Florida, Texas, places, homeowners insurance have gone up so much that people can't afford the mortgage payment with the homeowners insurance, with the cost, and they didn't get an increase in their income. So now it's like, I'm forced to sell this thing.
Bro, I used to work in mortgage too, and I used to like call people up and shit, and then I was like, dude, this feels weird. And he goes, no, look, you haven't seen the whole process yet. like when people in that situation have like 100K just locked in the house, they want to let it out so they can retire. So they're like, yeah, no one's gonna buy my shit, whatever. It's too complicated. When it's refied or when it's sold and they can pull that money out and they can just like downsize and get like an apartment and chill because like all their kids moved out, and I'm like, yeah, they're super happy. And at the end of it, they're all happy because they got their money out. And I was like, wow, I didn't even think about it that way. Because like some of these people are like, they get a fucking 5-bedroom home and then all their kids move away. They're all lonely and they're by themselves in this house, and then their spouse died. And then they're like, I don't want this shit no more. Yeah, and then but then they have like hella money in the house, and then they don't know what to do, and they have all these like agents, and then or maybe like they don't know how to refi because they're too old or like whatever it is. And I'm like, damn, there's just a whole like market out there of like you have to approach them because they're not gonna do anything.
That's when Bart's biggest.
But they're starting to reach out now. The reason why is
Thatch gave me a script.
And I'm gonna read it.
the reason why it's becoming more popular now because you can see hedge funds are getting into it. So now there's something called home equity agreements, home equity investments, where they will give you the money you need to live and survive. But after 10 years, you have to sell or pay them back. But they share in the growth of your equity. So there's already so if companies are reaching out now, it's becoming more more popular.
Interesting.
That's so smart.